Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBA Now from Chat Sports. With you, as always, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther. Give me a follow on Twitter at JimmyCrowther3, and make sure you are subscribed to Chat Sports on YouTube for all the latest and greatest NBA news and rumors, all playoffs long, all summer long. And speaking of the playoffs, let me know before we get started who you're pulling for in this year's playoffs. For me, out in the West, I'm pulling for Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. Love what they're doing in this first round against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Been fighting. It's been a fun series. And then out in the East, I'm pulling for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off against the 76ers, but they've been fun to watch. So I'm pulling for them. But let me know who you're pulling for in this year's playoffs. And speaking of the NBA playoffs, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how the first round is sort of shaping the summer that these big star free agents are going to be having. And we're starting with the number one seed in the West, the number one seed basically in the NBA, you could say, the Golden State Warriors. They've got three big name free agents, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and DeMarcus Cousins, all hitting the open market this summer. And let's start with the biggest name of them all, Kevin Durant. There's no secret that he's interested in possibly going somewhere else. Why? I don't know. Maybe he wants to start his own franchise. He wants to build up a new team, like the New York Knicks per se, maybe. Who knows? But so far in this first round, he has been the unstoppable scorer that we know him as. 28.8 points per game, 5.3 assists per game, and then 5 rebounds per game. Warriors obviously have a 3-1 lead right now over the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't see this one going past Game 5. I think the Warriors will close it out in Golden State. And Kevin Durant, of course, is at the helm of all of this. 30 years old, hitting free agency, but he's doing all this. He's the head of the team. He is the head of the snake. They've called him a snake. You can call him a snake if you want to, but he is the best player on this team. I mean, Steph Curry's great. Klay Thompson's great. They're all great, but Kevin Durant is the best player on this Warriors team. So, they're heading for probably their third straight finals appearance. Kevin Durant has a chance to win his third straight finals MVP. So you got to think at 30 years old, he's feeling good about being in a franchise that is set to win for at least a couple more years should he stay. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him return. But if he's looking to leave, like everybody says he is, all the media saying he's looking to leave, if he really is, I think there are three teams that are going to chase him really, really hard. The first one being the New York Knicks. I think, in all honesty, this is a two-team race. I think I could stop right here. It's between the Knicks and a return to the Golden State Warriors. I think are the only two teams he really looks at. And then the other two teams, the West Coast teams, the Los Angeles teams, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, both going to be chasing. I think they both come up unsuccessful in landing him, and he either goes to New York or Golden State this summer. But you have to think, after this first round, he's liking what he's seeing from his Warriors team and him being the head of it all. So now, second guy in Golden State, not a huge part of this team. He's only played 30 games, but DeMarcus Cousins, obviously coming off that torn Achilles last year with the New Orleans Pelicans, signed the 1-year prove-it deal with the Warriors. Not a big deal. I believe it was about a $5 million deal just to say, hey, I can be healthy. I can still contribute. Let's see what I can do. Well, he played 30 games, like I said, proved he can still play at a pretty high level, averaging 16.3 points per game, 8.2 rebounds. But the thing was, he was only playing a little more than 25 minutes. He obviously had a minutes restriction with his big injury. So that's a lot of production for someone playing 25 minutes per game. And it was going pretty well. Everything was going pretty well in the recovery. Teams were seeing what he could still do. And then the second game of the playoffs, he tore his quad, which is not an easy injury to get over. But there's a chance. It's about a 6-week recovery. Assuming the Warriors go to the finals like we all think they will, he could return to the finals, but I would be very, very surprised if he comes back and tries to play in that series should he be back. Now, looking at his free agency, Steve Kerr said this back in November. He said, "We made no bones about it when we signed him. This is a 1-year deal, and we're not going to have money to sign him next year. So we'd like to help him win a championship and sign a great contract somewhere else." That's the reality. This, of course, coming from the head coach, Steve Kerr, of the Golden State Warriors. 28-year-old center, big-bodied man, coming off a second consecutive major injury. He proved himself talent-wise, but he can't prove himself health-wise. He is not healthy, so I don't know what kind of money he's going to be getting paid. I don't see him getting the max. If someone signs him to the max, that is an absolute mistake. in my opinion. But like we said, he's not going back to Golden State. Steve Kerr already said it. So there's going to be 3 teams. We're looking at 3 teams that are going to chase him. Again, both of the LA teams, they're in need of a big man, and he could fit really well with LeBron in LA or in that new, rebuilding fighting team with the Clippers. Those are the 2 main targets I think that are going to target him. But the sleeper team is a return to the New Orleans Pelicans. I would not be surprised if they try to get him back in New Orleans playing with his buddy Anthony Davis. They went to the playoffs last year before he got hurt. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, Anthony Davis, look, we're putting this talent back around you. This is your buddy BOOGIE Cousins. Come back, stay in New Orleans. Let's play. Let's win a playoff series together. So that's DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Durant. But there's one more Warrior that's hitting the open market this summer, and that's Klay Thompson. Of course, he's probably the 3rd option now on this Warriors team behind KD and Steph. Been with the Golden State Warriors since he started, 7 years now. Never really tested the free agent waters. He's always been in Golden State. I don't really expect that to change, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, he was in a slump. He wasn't playing great until this 4th game that the Warriors beat the Clippers. He put up 32 points and knocked down 6 3-pointers like he does. Great shooter. Now, nearly 3 months ago, The Athletic said that no team is really gearing up to chase Klay Thompson this summer because they all fully expect him to be back in Golden State. But if there is a team getting ready to chase him, it's probably the Los Angeles Lakers, who are honestly willing to chase anybody that is willing to sign a contract with them, if we're being honest. But Klay Thompson reminds me a lot of Manu Ginobili in San Antonio. He'll never be the first option. He'll never be the best player on his team. But he's a franchise cornerstone. He's a guy that's there. He's been around. It's not just because they're both shooting guards, but he's a franchise cornerstone, a great 3rd option. I do not expect him to leave this summer. But should he look elsewhere, I think the Los Angeles Lakers, like I said, they will obviously chase him. But a sleeper team, my Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks need shooting. They need defense. If Klay Thompson doesn't sign a deal on July 1st with the Golden State Warriors, do not be surprised to see the Dallas Mavericks chase Klay Thompson this summer. I think they'll go hard if he's available for even more than a day on the open market. So let me hear what you guys have to say about this Golden State Warriors team. I think we'd all like to see them blow up. We'd all like to see Kevin Durant go to the East. We'd all like to see Klay Thompson, I know I would like to go to the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously we're probably going to see DeMarcus Cousins leave. But which of these Warriors are going to stay in Golden State this summer? Let me know in the comment section below. Will it be Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson? Will just KD stay? Will just Klay stay? Heck, if you think Boogie's going to stay, let me know in the comment section below which of these 3 Warriors will stay in Golden State this summer. Now we'll move away finally from Golden State. It's all you hear about. It's all you see in the playoffs. And we're going to look at Toronto. The Toronto Raptors, Kawhi Leonard, their star player. No secret, he's hitting free agency this summer. I talked about this not too long ago. I talked about how I really think, how the Toronto Raptors really feel like they're getting a better feeling that Kawhi Leonard could stay in Toronto this summer. And they should be encouraged after this first round performance that he's putting up and that the Raptors team as a whole is putting up. He's averaging 28 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in this playoff series against Orlando. Obviously, they dropped the first game. I just don't think they were ready. They just kind of got caught off guard by DJ Augustine, Nikola Vucevic, the rest of the Orlando Magic. But they're up 3-1 now. I don't think they're going to have any trouble closing them out. They're getting comfortable. They won this last game by 20-something points. They're getting comfortable. They're going to close this series out. And now, I don't think it's Kawhi Leonard's play that's going to keep him in Toronto, but it's the play of the guys around him. Guys like Pascal Siakam, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, and then even Kyle Lowry, who had a horrible first game, are really stepping up and proving that, hey, this is a championship caliber team. We're not just going to settle for the Eastern Conference Finals. We're looking to make a run in the finals, go and play probably Golden State in that finals matchup. And heck, the way they're playing right now, I would not be surprised to see them get all the way to the finals. Now, Leonard really is a wild card in his decision making. We saw all the drama in San Antonio. There's probably going to be drama this summer. We don't really know what he's going to do, but I did say this last time. I said I would not be surprised to see Kawhi Leonard pull a Paul George and stay with his current team after this playoff run that they're in right now. Paul George, obviously everyone expected him to go to LA in the summer that he was available, and then he re-upped his deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think Kawhi Leonard should and could and might do this in Toronto. We'll see. But there's no secret, the teams that are chasing him, it's very obvious. The New York Knicks and both the LA teams. It seems like, these are kind of a constant with these big name free agents, these three big markets, two LA teams, New York. But I think if the most likely scenario is him going to the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't really see him going to the Lakers, playing in LeBron's shadow. I see him more leaning to the Clippers. But if New York strikes out on Kevin Durant, they'll go to the second best small forward available, and that's Kawhi Leonard, who is younger than KD, so it could be just as big of a win. But in all reality, I want to see him stay in Toronto. I don't know if he will. I would like to see that, though. It depends. If Toronto makes it to the finals, that would be the least surprising thing, is to see him stay in Toronto. Now, one more player that's always full of drama. Boston Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving. He's going to be available this summer. Celtics are obviously the first team to get out of the first round. They swept the Indiana Pacers. Now, all those games were pretty close. They were all pretty hard-fought games. But, it was a 4-5 matchup. Boston being the 4 seed, Indiana being the 5 seed. Obviously, Indiana is depleted. They don't have Victor Oladipo. But they put up a good fight in the 4 games that they played. It was a sweep, and Kyrie's been at the head of all of that, leading his team in points per game, leading his team in assists per game. But he isn't just carrying the Boston Celtics, is it? This isn't just him doing this. His team is stepping up. He was asked about it after the sweep, and he said, "I'm happy that we're all just diving into it, having a blind faith in each other." Obviously, like I said, speaking of his role players, you see guys like Jason Tatum, who's had a rough regular season, stepping up 19.3 points per game. Al Horford's pulling down 10 rebounds a game. Jaylen Brown's pulling down 7 rebounds a game. Like I said, Kyrie's averaging the most assists, 3-point field goal percentage. Jason Tatum's stepping up. All these guys are stepping up just in the right time. Again, I think Boston is going to have to prove themselves a lot more to Kyrie than just getting out of the first round to keep him in Boston this summer. But there's going to be a lot of drama around him, and it starts with, again, the Los Angeles Lakers, another big market, the New York Knicks, and don't sleep on the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to chase Kyrie hard. Obviously, they have D'Angelo Russell there, but D'Angelo Russell could easily play the 2-guard position. You put Kyrie at the point guard position. That's a heck of a backcourt. I really, really, really like Kyrie in Boston. I want to see him stay in Boston and keep building around Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then Kyrie, of course. And even Al Horford's a great center to have there to help build around. I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like to see these guys stay put and build around the team that they have. Don't know if that's going to happen. I would not be surprised to see him go to New York. Everybody's talking about him teaming up with KD in New York. Could be teaming up with Kawhi Leonard in New York if KD doesn't work out. We'll see. It's going to be a dramatic summer. All these stars are playing in the playoffs right now, but all of them have a lot of decisions to make this summer. Now, there's other guys out there like Chris Middleton, who made the All-Star team. Nikola Vucevic, playing in the playoffs right now, made the All-Star team. Even Malcolm Brogdon, a great player from the Milwaukee Bucks, all hitting the open market. But I wanted to focus on these big name guys. So let me know who you think is the biggest name that's going to be leaving their current team this summer in free agency. Is it going to be Kevin Durant? Is he going to New York? Is he going east? Is it Kawhi Leonard? Is he going west? Is it Kyrie Irving? Is he going to New York? Is he going to... Just let me know. Tell me who you think the biggest player is that's going to be leaving their current team this summer in the comment section below. And of course, as always, guys, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther. Give me a follow on Twitter at JimmyCrowther3. Give Chat Sports a follow on Twitter. And make sure you subscribe to Chat Sports on YouTube. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next time.